All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, today we're going to take a look at lesson 2.5. Our assignment's going to start on page 70. We're going to have problems 4 through 12, 20, 22, and 24. Don't forget on those ones that you have the odds that you can go and you can check your answer in the back of the book and kind of see if you're doing the right way. Remember, though, you must show work, no credit. All right. So to start off the notes for today, all right, again, as you come to these, hit the pause button, make sure you get everything written down, okay? Solving application problems. This is just another fancy way of saying we're going to be doing some story problems. Okay, these are the steps at what you want to do, okay? And number one here is probably the most important one, all right? And that is you're going to draw a diagram to represent the situation. So you're going to want to do that on every single problem. You're going to just draw a little picture, okay? No, I'm not expecting you to be a great artist, but do a little picture so so that you can see the situation, okay? Label the diagram with the given measures, okay? Now, make sure you get the C correct. Okay, remember the C is always the longest and it's always across from the right angle. Don't forget, you can hit pause on this at any point so you make sure you get this down in your notes. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to solve for the missing measurement and then you are going to label. Make sure you label it. All these labels should be, feet, meters, inches, things like that. Okay, so what we're going to do, okay, is we're going to continue with notes a little bit and then I'm going to go through some examples for you. Okay, the other thing we're going to talk about today is doing a three-dimensional figure using the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so if it has three dimensions, it has length, width, and depth. All right, to do that, okay, we have the Pythagorean theorem in three dimensions. All right, so now because we have that length, width, and depth, that's your A, your B, and your C, and then we're looking at D being our diagonal. Okay, so this is what the picture would look like. Okay, there's one similar to this in your book in case you can't see mine very well. All right, again, be writing this stuff down in your notes. Okay, all right, so what it says is in a rectangular prism, the length of the longest diagonal D squared is equal to the sum of the squares of the length A, width B, and height C of the prism. So again, you need to square them first, then add them together, and that would give you D squared, and then of course you'd square root both sides to find 4D. All right. Now, the examples we're going to do today, we're going to start off with problem number 2 from page 69. Okay. When we look at problem number 2, okay, it says Paul is locked out of his house with an 18-foot ladder outside and an upstairs window open. Paul read the safety warning on the ladder, recommended it to be 6 feet away from the wall. He placed the ladder according to the warning and it reached the base of the window. How high is the base of the window from the ground? So when we look here, here's the house, right? Here's our little window. Okay, then we have the ladder, and we were told the ladder needed to be 6 feet away from the house, all right? Then we were told we have an 18-foot ladder, so this is 18 feet. So then this is our missing one. Okay, so I'm going to call that, instead of X, let's call it A. Okay, so we're going to say A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay, A, we don't know it. B, we're going to say is 6 squared. And C is 18 squared. Okay, so then we end up with A squared plus 36 equals 18 squared is 324. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a negative 36 to both sides. And we get A squared equals 288. Okay, then now that we got A by itself almost, we got to get rid of the squared. So we're going to square root both sides. Okay, and then we're left with A equals 17. And then remember, it's important to label the dimensions. Okay, So there's our work for problem number 2. Now that's not one of your problems for homework, but that's one that we're going to do just as an example so that you have one to refer back to. Okay, now we'll take a look at number 3. What problem 3 tells us is it says a ship traveled 140 miles due north and then made a turn due east. It traveled 180 miles east. How far is the ship from the starting point? So we had a ship and it went north, then it went east. Okay, so it went north 140 miles, and then it went east 180 miles, right? And we're trying to find this distance. Okay, so there's our right angle. This then would be our C, okay, because it's across from the right angle. So what we're going to say is we're going to say 140 squared plus 180 squared equals C squared, all right? So if I use my calculator and I say 140 times 140, I get 19,600 plus, I say 180 times 180, I get 32,400 equals C. Okay, so now I'm going to add the 19,600 and we get 52,000 equals C squared. Again, we got to square root both sides. Okay, so to be able to do that, I'm going to take my calculator, I'm going to turn it sideways, maybe. Is my calculator not going to do it for me? Maybe it's because I need to unlock the calculator. Ooh, you almost saw my code, didn't you? I gotta find my calculator on there. Okay. Turn it sideways, there we go. Okay, and the square root of 52,000 is roughly 228. So it's approximately 228. Again, though, we must label it, and this one would be miles. Okay. All right. Now, the next one we're going to do is an example of one of those three-dimensional figures, and we're going to take a look at number 13. Number 13 says a rectangular prism has 3 feet long, 4 feet wide, and 2 feet tall. What is the length of its longest diagonal? Okay. So, again, we're going to draw this. Boom. Okay, this is 3 feet long, 4 feet wide, and 2 feet tall. Okay, and we're going to look for the longest. So we're going to say 3 squared plus 4 squared plus 2 squared equals D squared. Okay, because this is our A squared plus B squared plus C squared equals D squared. All right, so we get 9 plus 16 plus 4 equals D squared. Okay, that's 25 plus 4, you get 29 equals D squared. Now again, to get D by itself, we have to undo the square. So we're going to square root both sides. And we end up where D equals, it's going to be 5.0, I'm taking a guess, probably around 5.2, 5.1, somewhere like that. So we say 29, the square root, oh, I was off, 5.4, rounded to the nearest tenth, and our label is feet. Okay, so there we go. All right, there's examples. You got 3 examples of what you're going to have for your homework on this. Please, if you have questions, send me a chat and I will gladly help you. Hopefully this all makes sense to you. If you have a problem, please give me a call or send me a message, a chat, and I will gladly return it. Remember, you must draw a picture for each one, and then you must label as well. and show me all of your work. So each problem I'm going to tell you right now is going to be worth 3 points. You get 1 point for the diagram, 1 point for the label, and 1 point for the correct answer. All right. Have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.